Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
So we're on a Dune kick, aren't we? We're on a Dune kick. So we covered Lynch's wonderful film last week. And this time we are covering the Sci-Fi Channel. Science Fiction Channel, I should say, right? Because that's what it was then, I think.
Yeah.
Version, which is called Frank Herbert's Dune from 2000. Quite a long one, this, right? I think it was close to 5 hours in all. Close to 5 hours. So
265 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Was it? I thought it was longer than that, actually. Hold on.
We might have had the director's cut, which is 295.
I think we had the long cut. Now, interesting, right? Well, I mean, it was essentially the same story, but as we were complaining last week, the movie didn't have a second act, but this clearly did have a second act, didn't it? So we got a kind of a much more complete picture. How do you think they dealt with the complexities of the plotting in this?
They dealt with it a little bit better than Lynch did.
Well, you knew where you were with this, kinda, I think.
Yeah, but in some ways it's a little worse. Like, they sacrificed some of the, I'm just going to say, dignity of the characters. Like, instead of the Sardaukar being badass, they had giant chef hats.
Yeah, that
so
was...
you could easily identify them in a crowd. Instead of the Mentats having big red lips, they just had these goofy hats on.
A lot of goofy hats. Lots of goofy hats in this. Different hats meaning different things. Mind you, the big red lips... Oh, no, I was going to say they weren't particularly in the book, but they didn't they? Because they drunk a special juice to help them process.
They drank spice, so...
Yeah. Well, they called it Sappho juice, if I remember rightly, but it had spice in as well. They all have spice. Let's talk about some of the casting, right? What did you think of William Hurt as Duke Leto?
It was pretty good. He put across how, I don't want to say calm, like
dignified.
Dignified. Yeah, you have to be. Even when his son is suggesting amazing ideas, he just sort of takes it calmly as good job. And carries on. Basically treats him the same as anyone else in military meetings. Right. And that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Did you? I mean, I quite like this version of the Duke. I think I like it a little better than the film, but I quite like the film version too, which is Duke. Yeah. It's a Proch now, isn't it? But I quite like. Yeah, I like William Hurt in this. I have to say the casting was kind of patchy. There was some really good casting and some really terrible casting. I quite like Saskia Reeves as Lady Jessica, though I do think Francesca Annis does it a little better. She was all right.
Yeah.
The big plus for me in this whole one was the Baron. Actually, I really like the guy doing the Baron, Ian McNeice, who we've seen in other things. For example, he does Winston Churchill in a few Doctor Who episodes. That's him.
Yeah.
He was much more rational and much more like the Baron in the book. He wasn't crazed.
He was a lot more creepy.
He was creepy, but he wasn't crazed, was he?
Baron, in the Lynch version, he was creepy because he looked disgusting.
Yeah.
In this, he could have fitted in anywhere really. It's just that he was weird that he floated.
He floated.
And he was much smarter than in the Lynch version too.
Yeah.
The Lynch one was throwing tantrums.
Yeah.
While this one sort of was almost completely on top of all the planning.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did like this Baron. Apart from that, yes, there was some characters I liked. For example, the guy playing Peter DeVry was super creepy in this.
Yeah.
Which I think worked.
Yeah.
And also,
it didn't have the great line of in the Lynch version where it's well, when we work on my plan, and the Baron goes, "It's my plan."
Yeah.
And he just stands up for a moment and goes, "The plan."
The plan.
Just carries on.
I quite like the Stilgar in this too. I think I prefer Big Ed as Stilgar a little more, but I quite like the Stilgar in this. Is an actor called Uwe Osnet. There was a lot of European actors in this version, wasn't there? There was loads. And the other, one big departure from the whole book for me was, and it wasn't a departure of plot. It was like adding. It was Irulan's character. She's basically not in the film in the book until the very end. But in this, she's kind of a spy for the Emperor, even though he doesn't want her to be. And she's almost like the audience surrogate, finding stuff out. Kinda.
Yeah, she's like She's kind of investigating what A happened and what B is happening on Dune.
Yeah,
as things go to pot, really.
Yeah, and the Emperor was all right. The Emperor was played by the actor who's Rene Mathis in Casino Royale. Who's that fella? So it's kind of interesting. Let's come to the main character in this, Paul Atreides. Alec Newman, Scottish actor. What do you think of him?
He was okay. I think it was better as he progressed. Like at the start, it was just annoying because he was kind of a know-it-all.
He felt a bit like
the "he will know your ways" stuff didn't really come across that well.
Yeah, it worked better as he got older.
It was like he'd just sort of interject himself into a conversation to sort of like drop trivia about the Fremen, as opposed to like just sort of being able to do their stuff as well. So
yeah, it was kind of cool. I also liked the guy who was Leet Kynes. I thought he was all right too. It
was kind of cool when he was tripping out in the desert.
Yeah, that was, and that's straight out the book.
I don't remember. I couldn't remember if that was in the book.
No, it is in the book.
I just remember it like going from like. Yeah.
Well, he's not tripping out as much as here, but he is kind of delirious, and he keeps wondering why his Fremen haven't come to investigate because there are birds circling him. He says, "Surely my Fremen would notice that and come see what the fuss is and stuff like that." Was there any? I mean, there's a few other actors. Was there any weak actors or bad casting that struck you particularly?
The guy who played Gurney was a bit off.
He couldn't act, could he? He just couldn't act in this at all. That's the
but like even that, what he had would be passable because it genuinely seemed like he wanted to fight everyone in it.
Yeah.
But this is again something to do with Paul. Is they made him like far less skilled than say Gurney in the Lynch adaptation.
Yeah,
who could handily take Paul and just showed him what he was doing wrong.
Yeah.
In this, it came across more like Gurney got lucky in a fight.
Yeah, so. It wasn't a good Gurney. It looked all right, but he just couldn't act very well. That guy, just so you know, is the guy that was Hatchet Harry in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. And he was, if you've seen it, in The Long Good Friday, he plays Razors. So he's a London actor, he obviously came from London. You could hear it, could you? He's and he tends to play sort of hard men or gangsters, and it didn't quite work for me at all. Actually, he really couldn't act, and I felt some of the other ones were properly goofy. Let's think.
Mother Mohome was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was just weird. I mean, you could not tell how old that woman was supposed to be at all, could you?
Nah.
She was just weird looking. The other real criminal act that was perpetrated in this was the CGI. Was it bad?
It's not great. Except the worms.
The worms were good. The worms were good. They'd obviously put some money into the worms because they were pretty decent and looked quite effective. But when humans were interacting with the worms, it didn't work. But the worst thing of all was the desert mouse, which was about 3 times bigger than any other.
It was like a comedy.
Yeah, it was like
it looked so weird. I couldn't my brain just wouldn't properly process it.
The level of detail on that CGI mouse was equivalent to when Jerry, the cartoon mouse, appears in films with Gene Kelly. It was that level of quality. It was just, in fact, it wasn't that good. It was just,
See, Adam said all the spaceship stuff was pretty poor.
Yeah, it was.
The Guild Navigator was a completely different direction than I thought it was going to be.
I quite like that. That did take
I was still expecting like a giant worm to sort of come out because that's what they are always described as. But no, he's like a butterfly.
Yeah, it was weird, and he had weird glowing blue eyes, which makes sense, right? That kind of makes sense. So this appeared over a few nights on on Sci-Fi Channel. I'm not sure how well it did. Actually, let's have a look. The music I thought was kind of interesting. There was a lot of portentous stuff that, honestly,
the music's in the sets are really good.
Yeah,
so.
The music sounded quite a bit like some of the music from the first film to me. Actually,
yeah,
it's almost like they were.
I don't believe they took some stuff. Like they did have "The Sleeper Has Awakened."
Yeah, which must be from the. I was sitting noticed that and I'm thinking maybe I'm wrong. It must be from the book, that line, because they couldn't have ripped off the film directly. There was things like Fade was a proper skin job. He was like a non-character, wasn't he? Just like he looked the part, but that was it. Didn't mind Beast Raban, but he was okay.
Beast Raban was like. He was more of a presence than in the Lynch film, but he didn't do anything.
No,
he was just sort of like show up, shake his fists every so often, and then then complain to the Baron that he wasn't getting enough work done. So
yeah, it was. I like the twist at the end where Beast Raban, instead of in the book and in the first film, he's beheaded by the Emperor. Because the Emperor's so pissed off with what a bad job he's done. But in this, the crowd behead him.
I quite like how Stilgar's kind of leading that crowd, and he stood there with a gun. And there's like a moment where the beast like thinks he's going to shoot him and give him like a quick death.
Yeah.
And Stilgar just turns away and walks off. And the crowd all just slowly pull out knives.
And sort of that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Another interesting thing that they didn't have in the first film that they have in this is they have the fact that Paul has a son. Who
his firstborn.
Who gets killed by the Harkonnen forces or Sardaukar or whoever it is. It's the Sardaukar in the film, isn't it? I think it's the Harkonnen forces in the book because the Sardaukar turn up a bit early and get stuck in before the Emperor. So there's all that going on. So the plot was much more easy to follow in this, and I think it was written quite well. I think the script was decent in that it explained everything. The Irulan additions with Irulan weren't needed, but they weren't boring. They were perfectly fine. I was surprised to see
where she's like creeping around the Harkonnen around Gady Prime.
Yeah, that is weird.
And she comes across Fade Rotha like being massaged and like bathing with all these women.
Yeah,
and she like just joins in. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was a bit Game of Thrones. I mean, you don't have topless women in Dune. That's not what you have. But they put it in this, to add a bit of spice, I guess. If you forgive the pun. What did you like this more or less than the Frank Herbert?
I think I liked it a bit more because a lot of stuff made more sense.
So you could follow
it was a bit weird that that Jessica just suddenly was the Fremen just sort of made her the Reverend Mother in Lynch's. Well, in this they have like a whole explanation of Harkonnens have pretty much found them. Yeah. And they can't move the Reverend Mother. She can't travel that fast or that far.
It makes sense.
So they need to have a new one.
Yeah, she's an old lady in this version, which she was in the book, and that makes sense. Because in the David Lynch version, she's quite a young woman, and it's like, why is she dying? What's going on? You saw a lot more detail that was brought out quite nicely. I thought they did change some of the stuff, but it was kind of mostly true to the story, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. And I appreciate the fact, and I think Alec Newman was all right, but the problem is he's going to get compared to Kyle MacLachlan, and no one's going to be able to stand up to that comparison. Doesn't matter how good they are. But I think he did a passable job. I like the bit with while the CGI was rough, I still like the scene anyway. I like the bit with the Hunter Seeker. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah,
I like that it was now like a big snake thing instead of just a tube.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I like that. I also like the fact Jessica could speak the lingo, the Fremen secret language. That's again the old Bene Gesserit implanting and this, that, and the other.
I think the voice was better represented.
Yeah, the voice, it was actually quite similar.
The weird, like, rattling.
Yeah, there was like a rumble.
It was sort of like bouncing around in their head the first few times it gets used.
Yeah.
So
it was quite similar to the Lynch way of doing it, though. Quite similar. I mean, well, how many ways could you do it? I quite like the Alia in this as well. She was suitably weird.
Yeah, Alia was strange.
Alia is always a strange character. She gets even stranger.
But I think she may have been better in the Lynch version. Because in the Lynch one, it's just like so mental and weird. She has less characterizations, yes, but it was just funny when she was on screen. She was just funny to watch.
Yeah,
her like dancing about, going like, "Thy brother is coming for you, Harkonnen," or stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's much better than when she just sort of. They obviously used the kid actor's voice for this.
Yeah.
So when she goes, "Feel the sting of an Atreides gum jabber," it's a bit less impressive.
So, yeah. I like the still suits in this.
They were much better.
They look like the real suits from any of the artwork I saw before the David Lynch version came out. The still suits kind of look like what they did here, so they were more realistic. However, I do think the David Lynch still suits look way cooler, but they look way less practical. These ones look like
the ones in this had kind of like a gas mask component.
Yeah, which you would have. You'd have you breathe through that to lose the water. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, but the effect was it looked kind of like a skull. So
yeah, oh yeah, I never really put that,
sort of thing.
Yeah, I never put that together. So overall, did you think it was worth? Was it worth the 5 hours?
Yeah, it was still pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think it's quite a good version of the book. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with this new version, whether they're going to chop it so that it's a reasonable length. I honestly think it could be delivered in 2 films.
Villeneuve is just the right sort of weirdo that could make like a 5-hour film version.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I did like his Blade Runner, so I've got high hopes. This, let's see. I mean, next time we're going to be covering the sequel, which actually covers the next 2 books. It mixes up elements from the 2 books, mostly the 3rd book actually, which is quite a good thing in my opinion, because the 2nd book's kind of a much more minor book. Dune Messiah.
Yeah, that's the one where it's basically all just a thing to get Paul to renounce the throne, and he just doesn't.
Yeah.
So
it's basically a plot against Paul, but they don't want to just kill him. They want to sort of destroy his reputation. Is kind of the thing.
Yeah.
And it's a plot between several different groups, some of which we haven't even encountered yet. Like the Benitalax are involved in the book. Yeah. I can't remember for the TV series, but they're a whole different thing again. Those guys.
Yeah.
They're quite weird. So I've read all the books, and I quite like. I still think the first book's the best one, but I think the first 4 are very solid. So overall, we didn't really mind this, do we? It was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, the word apart from the CGI, the Sardaukar outfits were just abominable. They were really not. They were stupid looking.
Now, is it weird that I quite like the Sardaukar as the sort of short characters that they were? It's like when Irulan and Paul are sort of chatting at a thing, the Sardaukar like storm up and like, "This is where you went off to," and then Gurney immediately gets like in their faces about it.
Yeah, they're pretty badass.
And they were perfectly ready to throw down in the middle of this ball.
They were kind of like, imagine the SAS being forced to dress up as, I don't know.
Let's not compare like baby killing people to the SAS.
Okay, all right. They were like a black ops group that were forced to dress up as 18th century dandies. How about that? Yeah. That's the kind of vibe you got.
But that could describe most military factions in Dune.
Yeah, so. That's true. I quite like this. I did like they put in the bit where Gurney thinks Jessica was the traitor. They include that bit, though it's quite cursory. But it is in the book. It's kind of quite a cursory scene in the book. But I always
so that I completely forgotten it happened. So
yeah. I did like. There were lots of little things to like about this, and there's lots of little things not to like. The silly outfits was kind of sometimes spectacular in a Flash Gordon way. When it was the aristocracy, that made sense. But when the soldiers are dressed up like that, that doesn't make sense. In fact, I think the Harkonnen stuff was way cooler. It was kind of half samurai outfit, half Roman or something. It was basically black
samurai outfit with like a hazmat suit.
Yeah, bright red hazmat.
Red and black.
It was kind of a cool look. I thought that was pretty cool. But I also like the fact that the Fremen were rock hard. The other thing I didn't like was I like the fact that she had the weirding way and she could really fight well, Jessica. But I didn't like the fact that Paul could literally disappear in the middle of a fight. That was just stupid.
Yeah,
that was goofy.
I like the way they made it like super speed.
Yeah, that's what it was. But they didn't come out like that. He literally disappeared and then appeared somewhere else.
Yeah,
it was kind of a bit goofy. And one bloke tried to fight, but he just disappeared. He says, "Oh yeah, you're getting better." It's kind of funny. So there were lots of things to like. Anyone you really didn't like that we haven't talked about? We had a few characters not very well represented. They are better in the book. For example, Count Fenrig barely has a line of dialogue. He's hang.
Oh yeah, he was in.
He was hang.
I completely forgot he was in.
But the thing is, he looked a bit like Peter DeVries because they had exactly the same outfit and they kind of looked similar. So it's a bit confusing, actually.
Yeah.
So there was that. UA.
What? The guy who played Fenric. I literally just clicked on him to see if there was like anything else he's been in. He was the voice actor that dubbed Holly for Red Dwarf for the Czech version.
How about that? That's weird. I didn't know there was a Czech version of Red Dwarf. That's amazing.
But it's like a dub, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Oh, he dubbed it. Right.
Yeah.
Good, yeah. I kind of like this. I think Dune actually does lend itself quite well to a TV miniseries. Imagine if they had the budget of, say, I don't know if you've watched any, but Star Trek Discovery's got an amazing budget. It just looks absolutely amazing. And it'd be kind of cool if they kind of remade this again in the TV version with that kind of sort of production design.
You could probably get HBO to do something like that.
Yeah.
They've been doing Game of Thrones. They'll need something after that. So.
Yeah. I also like the fact that straight after this... I'm just trying to think. Sci-Fi Channel also went on to Battlestar Galactica, and you know what? I wouldn't mind the team who did Battlestar Galactica, the remake, having a go at this. I would have quite liked that. Obviously, that's all in the past now, but that would have been kind of cool. I thought it was kind of nice. It was. I mean, Dune is meant to be kind of intelligent sci-fi, and it isn't quite super cerebral, but it's not Star Wars, is it? It's kind of a bit it's a level above that. It was. I mean, Fade Rorfer could have been done better, maybe.
Yeah, but I like that they included a lot more of him doing stuff instead of just sort of like mincing about in the background while the Baron's doing stuff.
Yeah, and his leather codpiece and.
Yeah, they actually showed him like in the Colosseum and like fighting people, and they made the point that he only ever fights drug people.
Yeah,
so
that was cool. That scene where he actually has to face a non-drug person would have been very cool. Like in the book.
I also like his attempts on the Baron.
Yeah, that was really good.
Like hides the needle in the like leg. I don't even know what he would be his leg. Yeah.
And the Baron explaining to him why he needs to keep, why he's of use to Fade as well. They did bring forward some of the plotting about possibly taking the throne, because it really only happens right at the end of the book. The Baron, it's not part of the plan. The Baron realises if the cards fall the right way, he could end up as the Emperor. Which he really liked, but that was more a late entry possibility than part of the big plan which they made, which was fine. It was fine in this. It was fine. I think overall it was pretty decent. It had a kind of flat TV feel, but it is a TV show.
Yeah,
It didn't feel particularly cinematic in places. The worms were really good.
Yeah, I like the weird like double mouth they had.
Yeah,
they had like a beak and then a tube inside. So
yeah, a bit predator kind of maybe.
Sort of.
Charlie, I thought was quite good.
Yeah, she was kind of cool. Well, she was actually a presence in the story as opposed to the Lange one.
Yeah, the women were quite reasonably well served in this, weren't they? In some respects. Lady Jessica had her part, and I did see, and I think the whole Alia getting, coming to consciousness was kind of reasonably well done as well.
The visualization of that was super weird.
It was weird.
Like her having to hold the giant fetus to protect it from, I don't know, the spice.
Yeah, just hug the fetus. Hug the fetus.
Yeah.
But there was some weird old CG in this. I mean, the mouse was pretty bad, but also Paul kept having dreams about his dad, and there was like a CGI face in the sand, and it was a bit rough.
Hundreds of people chanting to it.
Yeah. It's good.
I didn't like that he kind of knew that he should be called Muad'Dib. No, wait. They kept saying that the prophet, like the Messiah, was Muad'Dib. So it kind of like before he'd taken the name.
Yeah.
So it kind of came across more as he was co-opting the name.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't pick up on that.
Which he was, but not that name. So
no, he just liked the little mouse. That was the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was pretty decent thing. And like I say, next time we'll be doing Children of Dune. And then I think we're part of Dune now, unless you want to go into Jodorowsky's Dune. That's the only other Dune kind of thing left. It is a great documentary.
I've read a lot about what you wanted to do, and it just sounds like unpleasant.
I kind of agree, but I have to tell you, it's a really good film documentary. It's really interesting. But anyway, we're more concerned with the story, right? I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's park it there. So, what would you give this out of 10?
I'd give this an easy 6.
I'd say 6.5. I'll say 6.5. Not quite a 7, but it had lots of weaknesses. But overall, I thought it was an interesting watch. Glad I watched it. Wasn't bored. It filled its time well. I had to watch it over a few nights, though. It took, I think, 3 nights to get through.
See, I watched it in 2 hits, but I was playing video games at the same time.
And you can kind of do this with this kind of film, because it's a fairly slow-moving piece, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was languorous. The scenes were kind of... I don't think they were boring. It's just they could have been tightened up, but they didn't need to be, and it kind of worked because it's TV.
It didn't lose anything because it was as long as it was.
No. Okay, cool. All right, then let's wind it up there. So, bye from me.
Bye.